The crypto market is all about cycles, and your ability to predict the cycle can mean the difference between making returns and making life-changing returns. So while the crypto market was focused on Bitcoin and how Bitcoin was eclipsing gold, we were telling you to move your money out of Bitcoin and into Ethereum. And it looks like the market cycle played out, well, exactly as we predicted. Today, I'm going to tell you why I'm selling my ETH and what the next market cycle may bring. And I think you're going to be, well, quite shocked. I'm Crypto Man Run, and I come to you every day, twice a day. And I bring you crypto love and crypto wisdom, and I bring you the banter bags. Yep, guys, we are very close to giving away the banter bags. So, in fact, let me show you how close we are to giving away the banter bags. We have 215,000 subscribers. Yesterday, we had 206,000 subscribers. That means that in 24 hours, Fred, how many subscribers is that? That's 9,000. In 24 hours, we're going to have picked up 20,000 subscribers. No, 10,000. 10,000 subscribers. So that means that if we're picking up 10,000 subscribers a day, these banter bags will be gone in 3 days, which basically means we need to get a move on and we need to give away the bags. So if you're new to our stream, welcome. Here's a red carpet for you. Welcome. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and do it now. And the reason why you want to do this is because if we get 250,000 subscribers, we will reveal who Fred is. We will show you Fred's face in the naked flesh. We will show you who Fred is. Fred's looking at it, he's got his mouth open. He's like, you are not doing that. No. When we get to 250,000 subscribers, we give away the banter bags and we give them to the community. And right now, the value of the banter bags is 441,971. But we still have Donkey Finance, Unreal Finance. I'm not finished, Fred. We still have Donkey Finance, Unreal Finance, DeFi, and we still have Trade Stars. And I think we better actually stop investing, because if we carry, it's an addiction. I just keep taking the money, putting it into new market allocations, taking the money, putting it into new market allocations. We have to stop that shit. Yeah, like it's enough now. We have to consolidate. We have to get the banter back so we can give them to you guys, to subscribers of our channel. So we have 215,114 subscribers. One of our amazing subscribers is Kaylee, and Kaylee is all the way from, Kaylee, where are you from? I know you're from Canada, right?
I'm from Toronto.
You're from Toronto. Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
What are you doing backstage?
Sorry?
What are you doing backstage?
I'm just such a big fan of crypto banter. I just love watching backstage to get the inside scoop.
I think she's bribing Fred. I think Kaylee's bribing Fred to get backstage passes, but she's another subscriber. Maybe she'll win the banter bags. If you're a subscriber, you could win the banter bags. That's how amazing it is. And Fred is telling me, get off the Wi-Fi because your voice is lagging. So let me get off the Wi-Fi. I'm back. And I'm back. I'm off the Wi-Fi. It should be better right now. Okay? My lips and the sound should be moving together now. All right. So welcome to our community. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, share our content, because that all gets you entered into the banter bags. If you're not following me on Twitter, at CryptoManRun, if you're not following Sheldon on Twitter, well, follow Sheldon on Twitter, Sheldon_sniper. Not only because we give you the best calls all the time, not only because we give you immediate calls all the time, but because that's your way of winning the banter bags and joining a really cool community where we have lots of fun and we make lots of money. Yesterday, we selected a winner in the banter bags competition. Her name is Bronte Spark. Bronte Spark was supposed to come on the show today. Fred, what happened? She's in Australia. It's very, very, very late in Australia. Bronte, we'll see you tomorrow. The whole community wants to meet you. We've had messages. I mean, we've had marriage proposals. I mean, if you think about it, like Bronte Spark and Melinda Gates are actually like kind of in the same boat. They've both got life-changing money, and I think they're both single. So, I mean, imagine that. Like, you've got life-changing money and single. So, Melinda Gates, you're also welcome to join our community and hit the banter bags. I did hit her up today on Twitter, and I did ask her for her phone number. I wonder if she'll send it. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on here today. We do have to choose winners in the banter bags competitions. That has to happen now, today. I think we'll choose some winners today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, because 35,000 subscribers to go before we give away the banter bags. And I really hope that after we give away the banter bags, you guys will still keep watching our show, because I don't feel like it's like the banter bags is bigger than the show. Don't know. Let's see. Okay, so big stuff in the news today. The biggest story for me in the news today is this thing over here. It's not this, it's this. Why am I saying that coin market cap or coin gecko is the biggest story in the news today? Look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin is now at 56 cents. It has a market cap of $28 billion. That is actually bigger than Twitter. So Dogecoin has a bigger market cap than Twitter. Okay. So Fred said, okay, the market cap is 73 billion. So it's much bigger than Twitter, actually. And why is this happening? Why is this green candle happening? And that is because you know that Elon Musk is going to be on Saturday Night Live, and he's going in there as a Doge father. So people think that he's going to talk about Dogecoin, and that's going to send the price spiking. I can see Sheldon in the waiting room, and he's kind of going, he's going to short the shit out of Dogecoin at some point. You guys remember that the last time I shorted Doge, I got wrecked. So I've got like post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, again, the big question is, can Dogecoin actually be a thing? Can it actually eventually take off? And I've given you the scenarios for both. But I've said to you, if the fundamentals don't make sense, then I don't do it. And for me, the fundamentals just don't make sense. And there's so many amazing opportunities. Why would I spend my money on Dogecoin? Why would I put money into something that I don't fundamentally believe in when we're getting to a point where the fundamentals actually matter and a lot of things are taking off fundamentally? So you've actually got to do research for these things. It can't be like, just aping into things, because we are in a crazy cycle. And in this cycle, people are getting carried away. They're getting burnt. So let me show you something that I saw today. And it scares me. And what scares me even more is that people like CoinDesk would actually publish something like this. So the article is called Altcoins Just Repeated a Move That Could Launch Them 27,000% Higher. So in other words, 270x from where they are today. Now, what I find very cool about this, or very funny about this, is that Rect Capital is the company that says this. All it took was a single year. Rect Capital suggested that although almost unimaginable, something could happen exactly the same way, and that could make altcoins go up by 27,000% to a market cap of 152.6 trillion. Okay, now, the reason why I love this story so much is because Rect Capital is actually going to get wrecked. So if you are a client of Rect Capital, then prepare to get wrecked, because Rect Capital is about to get wrecked. You get what I'm saying, right? Rect Capital going to get killed. You cannot let yourselves get caught in the hype in this alt season. This alt season can wipe you out, because things are going to happen in this alt season very quickly. Crypto moves quicker than anything in the world. There's nothing that moves as quickly as crypto moves. And so you've got to be nimble. You've got to be able to change your strategy. You've got to be able to read market cycles very quickly. And you can't get swept up in the hype, because if you do, you are going to get wrecked. Just like our friends at, you know what we should do, Fred? Let's get the guys from Rect Capital on the show. Call them, tell them we want them on the show, and then we can all meet the people that are about to get wrecked. Yeah, because if you think that altcoins are going to have a market cap of 15 times that of gold because of one indicator. So let's move on. I actually can't deal with that rubbish. It's actually garbage. But what is not garbage is the big story of the day. And the big, WikiD says erect capital would be better. No, they're going to be unerect. They're going to die. They're going to fall over. Jellybean, I keep seeing you commenting. Charlene Mayring says that she loves my voice. Maybe I should record like a bedtime story or lullaby and then sell it as an NFT. All right, so let's look at the big story of the day. The big story of the day is what I said to you guys. I said that I'm going to sell my ETH. Fred, put up that towel, just so the guys remember what the main story of the day is. Also, it gives me a chance to have a bit of a sip of water. Okay, so I told you guys I'm selling my ETH today. And that must be quite strange for you guys, because we've been telling you, and as recently as yesterday, I said to you guys that you need to be holding your ETH, and you need to be holding your ETH forever. And Now I come out and I say, hey, I'm selling my ETH. So I want to explain to you why I said I'm selling my ETH. As I mentioned to you guys, the crypto market works in cycles. And your ability to read the market cycle means the difference between making a lot of money and just making money. In a bull market, everyone will make money. You can pick the worst coins, the wrong coins, and you will end up making money. But only few people will make and keep real life-changing returns. So there are two types of investors. The one type of investors buys the fundamentals and holds them forever. And for those people, well, ETH is a great investment and you should be holding your ETH forever. ETH should be part of your HODL portfolio. And as we said, the HODL portfolio is a one-way vault and we never ever let things out of the HODL portfolio. Bitcoin, ETH, Link, DOT, Cardano. We put those into the HODL portfolio and we never ever let them out. But there is a part of your portfolio which is more flexible. The part where you chase bigger returns. The part where you try and beat the market. And for that part, maybe, there's a case for selling some of your ETH position. Remember when the market was focused on Bitcoin and everyone was telling you how it's all about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to go to the moon. There's institutions going into Bitcoin. There's a Bitcoin ETF coming up. And we were telling you to take your money and put your money into ETH. Crazy, right? But it seems that the cycle played out. Well, Fred, how did the cycle play out?
Exactly as I have been predicting.
Exactly as we predicted, because we saw the fundamentals of the market cycle moving towards ETH. What did we see? We saw that the attention was on Bitcoin. We saw the fundamentals of ETH brewing underneath. We kept saying to you guys that ETH is getting the network effect, that the value of ETH should be $6,000 if Bitcoin is valued at $55,000. And we still stick to that valuation. In fact, we probably think that with some recent additions to Ethereum, Ethereum should be priced at about $7,500 to $10,000. And that is on the current Bitcoin price. So if Bitcoin goes up in price, if you use the same metric, the valuation of Ethereum will obviously increase too. So why has the market finally woken up to Ethereum? What have they seen in Ethereum that we saw way back then? That's the big question. And I've broken it down for you into 5 things that have happened or are happening on the Ethereum network that will convince you that ETH is probably the right place to be for the long term. You want to get into them? Let's do this. So the first one that you need to understand is that unlike Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a store of value. ETH is a usable asset. And as much when the usage of Ethereum starts growing, it will start growing and growing and growing and get more of the network effect. Bitcoin is just a store of value. It's not going to be used. It's just there to store value. Ethereum is an asset that is going to be used. Now, Masari published this asset triangle, which I really love. They call it the asset superclass triangle. And they're saying up until now, there have been 3 uses for an asset. An asset could either have been a store of value, or a commodity, or a capital asset that generates income. But never before was there an asset that could do all 3. Some of them could do 2. So like if you think about gold, gold was a great store of value. It was also a great commodity, but could it actually generate income? No. Now you have this Ethereum super asset. And this Ethereum super asset is an asset that is going to be used, and it kind of solves all of these things. And it's the first time in the world that the world has an asset that is a store of value, a commodity, and a capital asset that actually creates income. The world has never, ever seen an asset like this, and they have no idea how to price it. But let me tell you, no matter how you price it, it has to be bigger than gold. And that takes me to my next point. Ethereum is an asset or an option on multiple asset classes. I know it sounds like a big statement. What do I mean by an option on multiple asset classes? Well, the way we see Ethereum is, right now there are many verticals that are being built on Ethereum. You've got DeFi, you've got NFTs, you've got stablecoins, you've got payments, and they are all being built on Ethereum. And you don't need all of them to work. In fact, you kind of only need one of them to work. If one of those works, then we justify the value of Ethereum 10x at what it is. If DeFi works and replaces the entire world's banking system, if they launch a social media application on Ethereum that becomes bigger than Facebook, and that's just one social media application. If any NFTs take off, all of these things are an option on Ethereum. So unlike investing in one company, here you are investing in multiple fields. And all of these fields are now starting to show promise. In fact, let's look at DeFi. We have DeFi, and I think if I'm not mistaken, we saw MetaMask's monthly active users. That is a chart of MetaMask's monthly active users. You can see that it's growing exponentially. And we know that there is today $78 billion locked in DeFi. Yeah, $78 billion is now locked in DeFi. Impressive. The more impressive thing is that just a year ago, it was 700 million. So in 1 year, we've had 100x increase in DeFi, and it doesn't look like DeFi is going to stop. Not only that, we are also seeing that a large number of the Bitcoin in circulation, 2, 3, 4% of the total Bitcoin in circulation are wrapped and are living on the Ethereum network to try and generate some yield. So DeFi is taking off. DeFi is growing at 100x. Even if just DeFi works, that justifies the value of Ethereum. But DeFi is not the only thing that's working. Remember we spoke about NFTs. And actually, if you watched the show yesterday, you would have heard me say that I think NFTs have been in a slump, but they're starting to wake up now. 1 day ago, it was just 1 day. Just listen to the show from yesterday, 1 day ago, 1 day. Anyway, so NFTs are now exploding again. Okay, I don't know if you saw the Google searches. Freddie, can we call up the Google searches while I get some water? Okay, so NFTs are making a huge comeback. Oh, and that reminds me. Stop everything. Stop, lose the chart. Tomorrow is 05/05/2021. Tomorrow is 05/05/2021. Tomorrow, Gary V is live on Crypto Banter. Motherfucker. Tomorrow is 05/05/2021. Tomorrow, Gary V breaks his NFT play right here on Crypto Banter. Okay, a complete and that again is going to get NFTs to boom. Now, you want to see what network effect looks like. Let me show you what network effects look like on the NFT play alone. So this is just NFT wallets. This is not DeFi wallets. But that is how fast the NFT network is growing. Each one of those dots is a new wallet being built on Ethereum to store an NFT by one of the marketplaces. And it's not about to stop. In fact, the biggest marketplace in the world, which is of course eBay, what did they announce last night? They are getting into NFTs, which kind of makes sense. They've got how many users? Like 800 gazillion. Oh, Fred says they've got a Brazilian users. Okay, so they've got 1 Brazilian users. How many zeros is that? Put on that CNBC thing where they told us about the Brazilian.
Cryptocurrency is taking on more attention. It's being adopted. How are you approaching that at eBay?
Yeah, you know, one of the great things about our managed payments is we're expanding the types of payments that we take. So we now take Apple Pay and Google Pay, more choice for buyers. We'll continue to look at other options like cryptocurrency. You know, one of the great things about eBay is when there's a new trend, it just shows up on eBay. That's what we're seeing in areas like NFT, which we're looking at how can we explore that better, because eBay is really known as the place to transact goods. You know, with 187 million buyers on the platform, this is the place that sellers come to get scale demand.
So does that mean that you're getting into the NFT business?
You know, we're looking at it and exploring opportunities for how we can enable it on eBay in an easy way. When you think about collectibles, everything that's really collectible has been on eBay for decades and will continue to be for the next few decades.
Okay, so now we know that eBay, the biggest marketplace in the world, is now getting in on NFTs. What is that going to do to that thing? Guys, I have to show you this again, because I don't think that all of you understand how fast network effects actually grow and why the value of Ethereum, even now at these valuations, is actually very, very cheap. Fred, play that video again. I have to show the guys again. What you're watching here is how the number of wallets increases exponentially. Watch towards the end, the map lights up a whole lot more and a whole lot quicker because there are more and more users, and every single user is sending NFTs to other users. It's amazing. That is effectively what network effects are, and you've just seen a map of the network effects on Ethereum because of NFTs alone. So that's another reason why Ethereum is going to work, because NFTs are starting to work. Fred, what's the number for the number of Ethereum locked up in ETH 2.0 staking? Okay, Fred says there are 4 million ETH, which is about $15 billion of Ethereum locked up that are never going to leave because they are locked up there for at least 2 years on the ETH 2.0 staking contract. Okay, so that is why Ethereum is going to work. Well, kind of. You have this usable asset that, for me, like I said to you, would you rather have usable asset or would you have gold? I want to understand. Would you rather own the internet or would you rather own gold? Obviously, you'd rather own the internet. Gold does nothing. Internet gets used every single day. It grows exponentially. All those lights light up as people start to use them, right? So, would you rather own the internet or own gold? Internet, gold, internet, gold. Of course, you'd rather own the internet. So, to the point, you are comparing a store of value, which is a dormant asset, which people generally don't transact in and don't touch, with something that's probably going to be used every single day for many, many, many applications, for sports betting, for DeFi, for NFTs, for money transfers. Guys, there are so many stable coins on the Ethereum network right now that there are more stable coins than possibly all the US dollars in circulation. Possibly. And if that's not the case, it's going to happen in the next year, 2 years, or 3 years. Right. So you take this asset that's going to be used, kind of like the new internet, but the internet of value. And you compare it to a dormant asset, which is just a store of value. And some of that store of value is actually moving onto this Ethereum network. And you say to yourself, Ethereum is probably the most valuable asset in the world. But then you sprinkle a little bit, just a little bit of EIP 1559 spice. Okay? You know what this EIP 1559 does? I'll tell you what it does, okay? It basically takes a super fucking asset and makes it into a super, super duper asset, okay? Why? Because, Fred, get rid of the slide. I'm trying to talk, bro. Okay, so you take this asset and you say, this asset is being used every single day. Okay, let me show you again, because I think this is a mind fuck of epic mind. I'm not allowed to say that. YouTube will ban this video. Okay, so you take the asset and you say, there's an asset that's growing like this on multiple verticals. It's growing like this on DeFi. It's growing like this on, on NFTs. It's growing like this on sports betting. It's growing like this on social networks, etc., etc. And in order to transact with this network, every user that wants to transact with this network needs to own Ethereum. But then you sprinkle just a little bit of 1559 spice. Now, 1559 spice, what it does is it basically destroys Ethereum, the number of Ethereum in circulation. So imagine every time that these people over here do a transaction, more and more and more ETH is burnt. Okay, so you take the total supply of ETH, and every time that a transaction happens between all these wallets, some Ethereum is burnt. So now you've got a used asset with not a constant inflation like Bitcoin, who's, by the way, not a used asset. So let's compare Bitcoin to Ethereum. You've got a store of value asset with a constantly growing supply. With EIP 1559, what you've got is you've got a used asset, which is growing in usage. And as it's growing in usage, you are burning the number of Ethereum available. Okay, it changes the whole game. The whole game gets changed because more and more people are using it, and we are burning more and more Ethereum. Sorry, my hands are lost. But you get it, right? This is where the secret spice is. You know, like at KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, they have the 11 herbs and spices. The magic spice for Ethereum, the game changer for Ethereum, the reason why Ethereum is now going to go to 7,000, and what did I say my price target was, Fred? I said 10,000 in May. Okay. The reason that Ethereum is going to 10,000 in May is because of what I told you, points 1, 2, 3, and 4. But then it's the magic spice of EIP 1559, which destroys Ethereum and makes it deflationary. So as more and more transactions happen, more and more ETH are burnt, and more users are joining the network, and we are burning more and more ETH. Okay? It boggles the mind how smart this EIP 1559 is. Obviously, Vitalik was the one of the co-authors of EIP 1559. The guy's a genius. And yesterday we told you guys that one of his wallets hit $1 billion in value. I'm sure he's got other wallets, but I can tell you that at $1 billion, the guy deserves a lot more. Okay? He deserves a lot more. I can also tell you that the co-founders of Ethereum all had these big wallets. Now, we don't know Charles's wallet, and we don't know Gavin Wood's wallet, but imagine that Charles and Gavin Wood also have like $1 billion worth of Ethereum. Fred's laughing. And then they got like $1 billion worth of Cardano and $1 billion worth of Polkadot. So Ethereum founders, in my next life, I think I want to be an Ethereum founder. But I mean, I want to be better looking than Vitalik. Yeah, I mean, I want to look normal. Okay. So the world's realized how amazing they've worked out the magic recipe of this 1559, EIP 1559. And again, that's the secret spice. And I know it sounds technical, but it is. It's EIP 1559. So that is why we are seeing all the institutions aping in, getting FOMO, going absolutely crazy, and trying to buy Ethereum. In fact, we even heard of a fund. We're not going to mention the name of the fund, but they may come onto the stream. And this fund says they went all in on Bitcoin. Let's say this, it's quite a well-known fund, and they were in the press quite a bit. And they were all in on Bitcoin. And they are now switching all their Bitcoin into Ethereum. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Remember when funds started to move the entire treasury, or companies started to move the entire treasury into Bitcoin, they're now realizing the power of Ethereum when you sprinkle 1559 on it. And so now they're starting to ape into Ethereum. And you can see that there's a new type of buyer on Ethereum. And this new type of buyer on Ethereum is the institutional buyer. It's that same buyer that was buying Bitcoin and taking it off exchanges. Well, guess what? Surprise! Wait, that's the part where you call up that slide where otherwise it looks awkward. It just looks dumb. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. So you got all these new buyers, and they come, and what are they doing? They are doing surprise. There we go. You see, they're taking all the Ethereum off the exchanges, and those Ethereum are never, ever coming back. You take that, you say there's 15 billion of Ethereum, which is locked in ETH 2.0 staking. You say that the institutions are coming in and they are taking their Ethereum off exchanges long-term. I would say that ETH is probably one of the best places to be right now. ETH is going to hit 10,000 in May. ETH is going to eventually flip in Bitcoin. Eventually, ETH is going to flip in Bitcoin. It's not going to happen now, but it is going to happen at some point. So ETH is an absolutely solid investment. And right now, we should be holding ETH. Cool. Let's move on. Fred's laughing. Okay, obviously, there's a tile up there that says I'm selling my ETH. So why am I selling my ETH, guys? I'll tell you why I'm selling my ETH. I'm not selling all my ETH. Remember I said to you that I got a HODL portfolio. And in my HODL portfolio, I put stuff in there that never, ever leaves. The majority of my ETH is actually living in my HODL portfolio right now. And once it's in the HODL portfolio, I have no access to it. It's locked up. It's gone. Don't touch it. It's for the kids and the kids' kids and the kids' kids and the kids' kids' kids. Okay. No, not your kids, asshole. But remember we told you to move some of your Bitcoin into ETH. And now we're saying to you that we should move some of those ETH out of Ethereum. And we need to look at the new market cycle. And the reason for that is because the crypto market moves so quickly that cycles change absolutely quickly. And I want to show you something. And again, this is not from me. I wish that I could come up with something as smart as this, but I can't. I can just tell you what other people have come up with. And I can only do that if the internet works. But you can see that the top of the bull market in both the 2013 and 2017 bull market only lasted for 40 days. And so what I'm trying to show you guys here is that this market changes quicker than anything in the world. And what was a good narrative for 2 or 3 weeks ago isn't a good narrative for now. 2 or 3 weeks ago, in fact, a bit longer, we told you to start switching your Bitcoin into Ethereum. And everyone started to follow us. And now you've got Ethereum breaking 3,300, 3,400. Yesterday, I told you on our show what's going to happen in May. And if you didn't watch the show yesterday, then I suggest you watch it, because that was probably the most important show that I've made in May. Yesterday's show was the most important show that I made in May. Trust me. Okay? Fred, stop laughing, bro. Yesterday's show was the most important show we ever made in May. Ever, ever, ever. And on that show, we told you a few things. We told you to look out for the following. We said, 1, Ethereum is going to hit 4,000 and it's going to happen in the next 10 days. What happened? I mean, we have to test, sometimes we have to test what we say to make sure that, we're not leading you guys down the garden path. Okay, let's look at what happened. We told you Ethereum's going to $4,000 in May. It's at 3,500 for all intents and purposes. Ethereum is going to 4,000 in the next 9 days. Cool. We said that BNB is going to run. Let's have a look. BNB 632. It's going to 1,000. We said that yesterday. We told you that DeFi is coming back, and it's coming back in a big way. And we said when DeFi comes back, what's it going to be? We said it starts off with Chainlink. Let me get Sheldon in here. Sheldon.
There we go. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Sheldon, what is that green candle?
That's Chainlink to Bitcoin.
What did we say yesterday about Chainlink?
That it was going to pump and it was going to outperform. Even to Ethereum. It's killing Ethereum today. Even though Ethereum's been moving.
Guys, yesterday I laid it out for you. Basically, I gave you guys the test paper. I said Ethereum breaks 4,000. BNB goes to 1,000. DeFi runs. And who runs with DeFi? Chainlink. When Chainlink finishes running, Band is going to run. When Band finishes running, it's going to be Bird and all the other small oracles, and you can take your pick. We also told you that the DeFi coins were going to move, and it's going to happen exactly the same. YFI to, the drill, and then it's going to move down to Pickle and to Harvest and all the smaller caps, because that's the flow of capital. I also told you yesterday that I think NFTs are going to make a comeback. And let me see. What is our favorite and our second favorite NFT plays? Well, between Superfarm and Eternity, right? Let's look at Eternity Chain. I kind of guess what happened, but let's look. Oh, goodness. It's gone up 28.8%. Imagine that. Guys, Eternity has finished unlocking its tokens. So that's it. All the supply is now in the market. There's no more token unlocks from the early investors. And now it's going to start running. Superfarm also flying. We saw that yesterday. So what we're actually doing is we're just reading the market cycle. And we're telling you what we think is going to happen based on what we see. Now we're telling you that it might be time to sell some of your ETH. Okay. And this is what I want to talk to Sheldon about. So Sheldon, why
What's up, buddy?
are we going to start selling some of our ETH now?
Well, obviously, we know that ETH is the ultimate currency, obviously with Bitcoin, but the main one I want to be collecting a lot. But I want to be making some more of that Ethereum and understanding the market that we go from Bitcoin rallying and then Ethereum rallying and then the major alts rallying. We can actually identify that by shifting with the trend of the market, you're actually making the main currencies. And what I mean by that is Ethereum's had a massive run. It's actually run all the way from $2,000, $2,100 all the way to $3,400 now. I think we hit 3.5 just now. So it's getting to that sort of cool-off stage where we're saying between 3.3, 3.6, we can have a little bit of cool-off stage. And same with the Ethereum to the BTC pair. We're going to have a little pullback to the BTC pair that's coming. So remember, longer term, Ethereum's gonna rally to 4,000, 3.2. It's gonna keep moving. But when we have big parabolic moves the way that Ethereum has, and if I jump it up and I show you the daily, you can see what I actually mean, that this coin has really, really rallied. So at some point, don't be surprised to have a little pullback. And in that time is the time where I want to be making some good Ethereum. And the way to do that.
Stop. Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
Okay.
Go to the BTC versus Ethereum chart. You're going to give away our secret.
I won't. I'll keep. Shh.
Okay, so that is how Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. So what we said to you was switch your money from Bitcoin into Ethereum, right? Which means that if you just hold Ethereum, you would have made 40% more Bitcoin just by following our calls. Now, remember, at the end of May, the objective at the end of May is to hold or to have more Bitcoin. That's it. That's all we want, to walk away at the end of May with more Bitcoin. Walk away, end of May, more Bitcoin. Someone's got an NFT. We're going to walk away at the end of May with more Bitcoin. Okay, so if we want to have more Bitcoin at the end of May, one way of doing it is buying Ethereum. But imagine that we could actually make more Ethereum at the end of May. Then we would have more Ethereum, and more Ethereum is more Bitcoin. Sheldon, show us how to make more Ethereum.
Well, obviously, right. Okay, go for it.
So to make more Bitcoin, you got to hold Ethereum. To make more Ethereum, you got to hold something else. What is it going to be?
You got to hold a coin that's going to outperform Ethereum, because then initially you're finding a coin that's going to outperform both currencies, which means that you have the choice to obviously choose which currency you want to sell back into once you've made the extra amount. But understanding that if we have a coin that can outperform Ethereum, and knowing that Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin for the next, initially you actually you accumulated two of the best assets, and you have the choice on what you actually want to sell to when it's the time. So remember that Ethereum's had a rally, but with that rally, it is going to have a cool-off stage. And what is next? We've just mentioned the 3 cycles: Bitcoin, Ethereum, major alts. What have we seen rally so far? Bitcoin, Ethereum. What's next? Major alts. So now,
let me show you, because I'm not a genius. I just
follow.
I just follow the right people on Twitter. There's one Bitcoin. Then Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, and we hear talks of the flippening. Flippin' hell, we just mentioned that. Okay, so now people move from Ethereum to large alts. Okay, which large alts are they moving to?
Cool. So the first one that's officially broken trend and that's moving is Chainlink. We've spoken about Chainlink, especially earlier on today. We said the key level that we must break, that resistance, and you can already see today how we're 8% up on Bitcoin, and we are close to 5% up on Ethereum. So Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin by 3%. So it just shows you that we are sitting with a coin here that's only just begun, that's only just broken this resistance.
Okay, hold on. Show me Chainlink to Ethereum. So we've now seen that Chainlink has obliterated Bitcoin. Okay, now.
So have a look at this, right? Now, I just want to explain this quickly, 2 seconds. So remember now the last few days, we look at that. Let me just clear here. You can see Chainlink's rallied, right? And everyone's celebrating, Chainlink's moving. But can I tell you something, that it actually hasn't been doing anything for us to be excited about? Why? Because all that it's done is made you a currency that's a shit currency. This is the one. Now, if you jump to this now, you'll be sitting and saying, sure. Okay, so Link hasn't been making me it hasn't been building any of the main currency that I actually want. And what we have finally done now is we finally hit a really good support zone. And this is where we're going to have a strong bounce up from the Ethereum. So it shows that even though Ethereum's performed quite well against the dollar, it hasn't performed close to what Ethereum has. And we know that there is going to be Link's turn, which is going to come.
Take me to the 1 hour chart. Because in that 1 hour chart, there has been a bounce. You can see.
There we go.
So if you look at the 1 hour chart, in the last couple of hours, this thing has turned. And so now, if you would have bought Chainlink when your show was on, and we said, buy Chainlink, it was one of the coins that you spoke about, you would have been up, go to the bottom there.
So if we measure from here, yeah, we were still trading down from this morning's show. So you would be up 9% Ethereum.
Yes, you would have been up 9% on your Ethereum, and your Ethereum are up on your Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Okay,
I know it may seem confusing, but the main thing is we are just moving to the strong currency. So all that, the way main thing to narrative down is we have the opportunity to now make Ethereum as well because of the strong push that it had, and the alts didn't run with it. It's showing now that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to settle a little bit, and now we're going to have the major alts that's going to pop.
Okay.
So now we just got to find the ones that are going to move, and definitely Chainlink is the first one.
Okay, Rudo, what do you think?
How's it?
What do you
Yes,
think of it?
that's amazing, guys, and it's it's actually fun jumping from the one rocket to the other rocket. What more can we ask for?
In mid-flight.
In mid-flight, what more can we ask for, guys? So yeah, I'm really excited with what is happening at the moment, and yeah, I'm looking forward to capitalizing and making more ETH and making more Bitcoin while I'm making more ETH.
Rudo, I want you to share your screen and like just at the bottom, just choose which tab you want to share because there's a lot going on here. And actually, all I can see is you. Me.
Yes. I can jump over to whichever screen you want me to quickly touch
now
on.
Tell me what's about.
Well, the thing with this screen, if we look at this one, it just shows us a combined of all the smart contracts to try and look where we're going to now be making more Ethereum to make more Bitcoin. And if we look at this chart and we look at what is happening at the moment, is we've been tracking this.
I think continue there. I think the sound is
Hello.
go there, Rudo. Yeah.
Am I good? Am I good? All right. So what
buddy.
we're looking at the bottom, and I'm just going to maybe maximize it. I hope the Wi-Fi holds on. Is that we've been tracking up and we've been consolidating. So I'm expecting a big bounce. And with this bounce, smart contract tokens and those are really going to be exploding. And they're going to be making us more ETH to be making us more Bitcoin. So I'm really looking at that and I'm getting excited. So definitely, and probably to start licking your lips on would probably be Litecoin.
Oh, God.
It's a one-night stand, Rand. It's a one-night stand. Don't worry. It's not a long term.
You're going to have to trade it. Don't date it. Don't marry it. Just trade it.
Emotions out of it.
Yes, and this one does have that potential.
Make sure you don't cuddle me after midnight. Don't get caught holding the bag of Litecoin at the end of this. I mean,
that's correct. But that is it.
Cool. So show us why Litecoin, Rudo.
Well, firstly, let's have a look. When we look at Litecoin, we've got, all the retail traders will jump when they start seeing these patterns. As soon as you've got these converged patterns, that is showing to us that the selling pressure is running out and we are definitely gaining. So Litecoin over Bitcoin has just exploded out. And with these patterns, we normally get a good retrace on that. But now the nice thing about the Litecoin is it's doing exactly the same for Ethereum on the same scale. So we've already had the breakout. It's been keeping up with Ethereum. Yes, the last few days didn't look that great, but this is normally what we would look at as a shakeout. So should Litecoin now start bouncing, and this is probably a really good buy zone at the moment. We've got our divergence playing out and everything that looks, that poises this for a good one. We should start seeing a step up and Litecoin should start making us some more ETH.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, to put money into Litecoin over Ethereum, after all I've told you about Ethereum,
yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one to fathom because
she's
look at ETH.
She cooks, she cleans, she looks after the kids. She's a crazy driver. She loves partying, and then you still go on the one-night stand. I mean, I don't get it.
we're never happy with enough, Ran, and that's the problem, And we're gonna have to just embrace that greed we have in us. And if we do it safely and we do it well, we can see, look at these FIP circles, ETH is getting to a point where probable top up is there. And with that shake, normally it bounces, boom, and then it goes. There's your targets. I mean, everything lines up. In that momentum, we might just have a little bit of a party there and cheat on our wives.
But as long as we come back home afterwards.
That is correct. And they don't find out. They should never find out, please.
Okay, yeah, because sure. I mean, I can't do that. Okay, cool. So money goes into Litecoin. Well, your money goes into Litecoin. My money is not going into Litecoin. What else?
Well, BNB, I'm liking BNB. Currently, BNB has been doing great stuff, and I don't see any weakness in the market just yet. So I'm liking my BNB at the moment. So
Look, we said
same
BNB
scenario.
goes to 1,000. We said
Yeah.
BNB goes to 1,000. Is BNB going to 1,000?
I see even higher, but more than that, the 1,000 is irrelevant. Is BNB making me more Ethereum, and it's going to be making me more Ethereum? And if we look at this long-term accumulation that we're having, this is purely the beginnings of big steps. So BNB at this stage is bouncing and it's creating nice steps for me. Remember, I like the market when it starts stepping up, because then I know we've really got a good, strong trend tracking. So we had our alt, we had a breakout, we're stepping, and currently BNB is in a really good step area. So all things considered, ignoring what BNB is maybe doing on the dollar value, which is currently in a good trend. Yeah, it's irrelevant. That dollar doesn't mean nothing for me at the moment. Yes, BNB definitely a really powerful coin for me.
You know how I see it? Let me tell you how I see it. So the way I see it, the US dollar is like the girl we dated in junior school. Okay? Then we met this, like the love of our lives, and it was Bitcoin. Okay? But then we moved on to Ethereum. And now we're moving on from Ethereum to like something a little bit more exciting. So like Bitcoin is the XX, and then like Ethereum is the X. And now we're moving on to like this romantic spark, which is going to take away our attention, but only for a short period of time. And then we're going to run back to Ethereum, and I don't know, maybe we'll even run back to our high school love to Bitcoin. But we will never, ever, ever run back to our junior school love, because when we look at photos of us together, we think to ourselves, what the hell were we thinking? What the hell were we actually thinking with the US dollars? What the hell were we thinking?
That is correct, yes.
Chaldino, anything else that you'd be buying right now? Because, I mean, we've got 15,000 people watching the stream live. Guys, if you haven't smashed the like button, let's try and, we've never had 14,600 people watching, so thank you. Let us smash the like, smash the subscribe. Let's get this on while Sheldon gives you another one of his amazing calls.
Awesome. So I think just to conclude the one with Chainlink to Ethereum, this bounce that we're looking at with Chainlink, and I don't know if you saw, Chainlink broke all-time high just now. It came just below, but we broke the all-time high. So it's already showing the Chainlink's starting to get the acceleration. But just this little bounce that we're expecting to just go test resistance is showing me that Chainlink can possibly outperform Ethereum by 85% in this next push upwards.
Hold on, whoa. Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin by how much?
To 85% it can, to go to this nearest point over here. And record this, remember this, eh?
Chainlink outperforms Ethereum by 85%, but Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin by?
I think it was also 100%, or it was 80 something. We'll have a look on that, yeah.
So basically balls deep onto Chainlink. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's big. Look how long we've been trailing down. So for a little push up, it's not even a reversal. It's just a little push up can make you 85%. What happens if this does this, Rand?
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? Possibility. The main thing is we can make some there. The second one is DOT. So these are the two that I'm staying on strongly. DOT is also getting to such a good support level. We're so low at the zone. And having a look at the downwards fib, we've just hit the 1618 to the downside. So that's a great bounce point. And off of this support zone over here, which is good. So from here as well, same thing. All we're expecting is a little push up to this zone. And a little push up to that zone shows us that we can make 54% more on Ethereum. So it's powerful to know that the charts are showing us that major alts are next. Ethereum's going to calm down. It's going to calm down a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to drop. It's going to have pullbacks, but it's going to calm down. And the money's going to move. And the money's going to move to the major alts.
Taking profit. Yes. So think of that calm down. People will be taking profit.
You know, if you come into crypto today and I say to you, hey, are you going to buy Ethereum? Even if you, hey, would any of us buy Ethereum? No. Okay. So that's the sentiment in the market. And if it's not the sentiment in the market, it will be, because sometimes we're just a little bit ahead of the market. So in a week or 2 weeks, people are coming to the market, go, hold on, we can't buy Ethereum at these prices. The sentiment is that you can't put your money in Bitcoin. So now they start thinking, okay, where do we put our money? Where do we put our money? Where do we put our money? And then they put their money into Dogecoin. No, I'm joking. That's
but that is what a lot of them are doing. Really, they are.
They go into large caps and then they go into smaller caps. And that's exactly what's going to play out right here now. As long as this market holds, as long as nothing happens to the big market, and I don't think anything will happen to the big market. then this is exactly what's going to play out. If the US stock market corrects, if new taxes come out, another dip for buying. Guys, I want to show you guys something again. I know I've showed it like 87 times on the show already, but most people do not understand the power of network effect. And I want to show you something. Say that you are the US government. How do you stop a network that is growing? How do you bet against a network that is growing like that on one application? Okay? On one application.
Yeah. That's insane.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how many days that took. How many days do you think that was? Like if I showed you that chart and I said, this is just NFTs, and this is just NFTs of the biggest providers and just NFTs on Ethereum. How long would you say that took?
Sure, 6 months, few months.
Play it again. Now look at the top corner of that screen. There's a date. Starts off 24th of January.
Yes, that's insane.
That's a week. That's 30th of January.
So what you're telling me, Rand, if you try and update it to where we are almost, it's going to be one solid color.
That's 2 weeks. That is the growth of the Ethereum network in 2 weeks on NFTs only. We have not looked at DeFi. We have not looked at anything else. Bitcoin is growing as fast as Ethereum is growing. BSC is growing faster than Ethereum. You want to bet against blockchain?
Yeah, no. Doesn't make sense.
Suicide.
You can't take a bet against blockchain. Now, we've seen the growth in Bitcoin. We've seen the growth in Ethereum. What hasn't run? Okay, let me explain this to you in simple English. DeFi today has 70 what billion, gazillion Brazilians? How many? You have a chart. Okay, so DeFi has grown 100x in the last year. Okay, 100x. Has Chainlink grown 100x in the last year?
No, definitely not.
Aha. But remember that for every DeFi smart contract that gets executed, you need an oracle. You need a feed, something, feed, data, something, right? Right?
100%.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so remind me again why Chainlink hasn't done 100x yet.
Oh, they were prepping for the move. Everything's got to be prepped. Chainlink's time is going to come, and I believe it's now.
Correct. And then it's going to be the big alts, the smart contract blockchains. It's even going to be Litecoin, shitcoin. It's then going to be all the other shitcoins. And then it's going to be the party of all the smaller altcoins. That's exactly what is about to hit us.
100%, yeah.
So we're all in agreement.
Exactly as I have been predicting.
It's happening exactly as we have been predicting. Rudo,
Awesome.
It's so nice to have you in our office, living in our office, eating in our office, drinking in our office.
It's been awesome weather here. Thanks, Ryan.
So we're going to have Rudo with us almost every day now, my friend. We shall see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to bring Lee on as well, because Lee's also here now. So it's just all happening right here. Sheldon, my friend.
How's up, buddy?
You better get onto Twitter and tell us exactly what's going on. If you don't follow our sniper, it's Sheldon_.
Yeah.
Sniper.
Sure. I'm so excited with Link. Sure, it's looking beautiful. Cool.
Link. All right, my friend. So he is watching. He's watching. There we go. Fred, what do you say? Do we choose another winner in the banter bags competition now? I mean, we've got like 5 minutes to kill. And let me just see what the channel subscribers look like. Let's have a look here. 250. Well, you guys have a look here. 215,871. Is there anyone in the comments that really needs the banter bags? Let's have a look. I'm going to let Fred do all the work. Who's going to win the banter bags? Who's going to win the banter bags? While Fred's looking, I'm going to remind you that tomorrow is 050521. So So if you want me to ask Gary V anything, well, tell me what it is, and I'll ask him. I'll ask him tomorrow. He's a buddy of mine. Me and Gaza, and Gary V are like this, bro. Zakir Hussain, you're an absolute legend for watching our show, but you're not a Banter Bags winner. I mean, I feel like a man who just wants to give away his money. And there's nothing to do. Like, Fred, who are we giving the money to? Fred, who are we giving the money to, bro? I want to give away a Banter bag. Fred. Zane Kirpina. No, Fred, you can't just keep picking beautiful women. Fred. All right, you know what? We're going to give away the Banter bags tomorrow. I'm Crypto Man Run, and I'll see you again tomorrow. And tomorrow, I promise you, we'll give away Banter bags with Gary V. You know what we'll do? We'll get Gary V to give away the Banter bags. Beautiful. All right, cool. My friends, it's been an amazing show. It's been our biggest show. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us. If you're not a subscriber, now is a great time to subscribe. We can even watch you subscribe live. I'm Crypto Man Run, and I will see. Wait, take this thing down. Leave it. Let's just watch your subscribers. Just leave it. I'm Crypto Man Run, and I will see you again tomorrow. If you're trading, trade well, my friend. Fred, take this. Fred, leave this counter on, bro. Let's just watch the people subscribing. Try that again. I'm Crypto Man Run, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, don't do anything, Fred. Don't do anything, Fred.
Crypto Banter is
Fred,
a
don't do
social
anything.
podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions
Fred,
expressed by
don't
the
touch
hosts
the dial.
research.
Fred, don't do anything.